Ladies and gentlemen, what is this sheet you see on the screen, you might ask? It is the list structure for 2025, and we're going to forecast what it could look like going into 2026. It's time to talk all things black and white. Now, this one's for the nerds who love a bit of list structure talk. This is more of just setting up the play for what's to come in the offseason. This sheet will get an absolute workout throughout the period of the offseason. So I thought, let's be proactive. Let's set it up now. Let's see where we're at right now. And then we can use this as a starting point. And if you guys want to talk about it furthermore in live streams, then we can do that also. So what have I done? I've set up the primary list, which we currently have 36 players of. So I'll run you through all this. We have 36 players on the primary list right now. We have 8 rookie A's, which is at capacity. We have 1 rookie B, that's Will Parker. We currently have 45 players on the list, so we're 1 over the capacity at the moment, which is because of the long-term injury replacements in Harvey Harrison with the medic mark on the side, the symbol there, and Reef McInnes. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. We also have 4 draft picks, which, in other words, if you look at it closely, it just means we have all picks on the table right now. That equates to 402 draft points. And then we're going to talk about the 4 potential players incoming through the draft /trade /free agency. And then we'll conclude with we'll talk about the delistings. Bear in mind, we must make 3 changes every season. That's not necessarily through the national draft. That could be through delistings, rookie draft, preseason supplementary period, and a lot. We also have to have any players we get through the national draft have to go on the primary list. So you can't chuck them on a rookie list unless they come through the rookie draft. This is not a perfect list structure in the sense that there could be little tidbits that we're missing here. So I ask you guys who are even more nerdier than I am when it comes to the list management side of things. Let me know if there's anything that seems inaccurate, and then we'll just adjust it. It doesn't have to be perfect, just to give us a ballpark idea of what's going on here. So what are we going to look at now? What I want to look at is, okay, we have McGuan, who's certainly coming in, McCarthy coming in, probably by way of a first round, and then Saxena maybe through a rookie draft. Who knows? He could be a slider. He could miss the national draft entirely. So our picks, they're not great, but it's the way the draft years worked out for these lads. McGuan in particular, he's going to slide. Saxena wasn't really in the calculations. However, he probably won't be an expensive pick. McCarthy, however, given he was invited to the National Combine, where 4 clubs or more have nominated to see McCarthy participate, he's probably going to cost the first round draft pick potentially. Maybe he slides because he's an NGA. Maybe nobody matches the bid or tries to bid for McCarthy before we get a hold onto him. I think maybe 34. I don't know where McGuan goes, but maybe 34 could be enough to get McGuan. A first-round draft pick might be needed. So do we for McCarthy? So do we need to access the future picks? Do we have access to that? Can we get an exemption? Or do we need to go into a draft deficit, which is essentially just getting a credit card and paying for the now, and in return, we'll have to cough up some future draft points, which is this number here. So 402, we might go into a deficit next year. All right. And Silvani is obviously probably beyond these 4 players. The rest is probably a bit of speculation, but these we're not certain, but it's a pretty warm lead that 4 of these 4 players will be coming into the club. Okay. So what we need to be mindful of, all right, let's say we bring in McGuan and McCarthy through the national draft. We need to make room, and Silvani, we need to make room on the primary list. So in which case we either have to delist 3 players from the primary list or put them on the rookie list and make space. It gets really tricky. We're not going to act like experts, but it's a bit of a fun little activity that we can do here. Bear in mind, we're 1 over the list capacity right now because we've got Noah Howes and Rowan Steele through the mid-season draft because of McInnes and Harvey Harrison being on the long-term injury list, which means, and they are on the primary list. So what that means is we're going to have to make 5 changes to bring in 4 players on our list. So let's start with this. Let's see who we can take out from the primary. This is just hypothetical. I'm not going to talk about the players so much, but just for the sake of this conversation, we're going to look at players on a primary list that may not be on the list next year. You got McRae, you got Mason Cox. So there's 2 there. Probably need 1 more space on the primary list at least before we potentially relegate a player to the rookie list. I'm looking here. McCreary, Schultz, no. DC, Billy Sidey, no. Like, there's not a lot of players here that I'm saying, yeah, we could probably, and they would have to be out of contract as well to potentially relegate them. It's quite unforeseen. I mean, Ash Johnson did it, but outside of that, there hasn't been a whole lot of that where we see players get rookied. I do see a world where maybe, I'm not sure if Ryan, and I'll have to do my research, do my diligence here. I need to see who's actually out of contract out of these players. But just hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, let's say we rookie. Can we rookie a Jaff? I'm just looking here. There's no one really else that I'd be willing to delist from the primary list. All right, so that's 2 players there. So immediately we can go Silvani for McRae, potentially, right? So we can do something like this. We can do this for Coxie. You know who actually springs to mind? Tom Mitchell. Just hypothetically, just for the sake of this activity, okay? That's 3 players. Done. Bang. Yeah? All right, so now we have room for a McGuan. We have room for a McCarthy who can slot in right there. Okay, so that keeps us within the capacity of the primary list. Now, if we're looking at like a Saxena, you could potentially, maybe an AJ goes. An AJ goes, and then a Saxena comes on as a rookie A, potentially through the rookie draft. Now, hypothetically, let's say Saxena actually does come through the national draft, you could look at, you'd need, like, again, we're talking about primary players on the primary list who would need to go to the rookie list. Once again, I don't know what Jat's contract is, but just say for the sake of this, we chuck Jath on the rookie list to make space for a Saxena. Now, we'll talk about a couple other players on the rookie list who will probably not be here next year. And maybe that leaves some space for us in the preseason supplementary period, right? So we're talking about players like Charlie Dean, who's probably almost certainly gone, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outgoing players. And then maybe Sullivan. I think with the way that list, if we leave 1 open for the preseason supplementary period, that could work. But let's just say, I think Parker also would need to go on a primary list. So somebody will need to let me know in the comments if Parker will need to move on to the primary list. If that's the case, because I think he's hit some sort of trigger clause in his contract, it's another one where we have to look at someone on the primary list to come down to the rookie list, right? But this is what we look. If we don't delist Sullivan, we could have 1 extra spot to go into the preseason supplementary period. Or if we do, we could add 2 more spots. If we get rid of Rowan Steele, that's something as well. But I've really liked Rowan Steele, so I'd like to see Rowan Steele remain at the club and give him another year at the very least. Well, you know what? I am gonna check Collingwood's contracts quickly. Collingwood, because it would, rather than guessing, it's important. Collingwood out of contracts 2025. I'll move this over, guys. Collingwood. Billy Frampton gets a contract for sure. Will Hoskin Elliott could retire, so we didn't think about that. So we're talking retirements as well. That's real. Oleg Markov, does he survive? But yeah, that's probably, if we go back here, as far as we're concerned then, put this back here, we could see something like this. We could see, where's Hoskin at WHE? So, not that he's going to be delisted, but he could potentially retire or be delisted, and then you move Will Parker here, and then he's on the primary list all of a sudden. So that's what we could look like going into 2026. So that's 1, 2, 3. Parker's been elevated for 4 ins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outs. We leave 2 spots for maybe even a couple more potentially free agents or a trade or draft or rookie draft. We leave some space there. And then also, just looking at our list. So we have 36 on the list. We have 2 spots. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on the rookie now. Yeah. Makes 43. Makes... Okay, so I'm wrong. We'll have 1 spot because that 45th spot would be no longer, wouldn't it, right? So that means, 43 on the list total. Yeah. So we'd have 1 extra spot. So a little bit of tinkering with this, guys. Let me know if there's something I've completely missed the ball on. But yeah, this is just a starting point, and we'll use it to guide us through the entire course of the off-season draft, trade, free agency, and whatnot. So let me know, guys. And as always, go Pies.